Hey family, so this is my first cooking video. I thought you might like that. I got a lot of comments about the asparagus soup, so we're about to make it. This is so easy, you're not going to believe it. The first thing you do is you just, come and get a shot, Boo. Boo's holding the camera. So the first thing you do is just chop up 2 onions. So I got two bunches of asparagus, and that's it. So we're going to chop up the onion, like that. And we're going to chop up some garlic. Alright? Alright, so I got some garlic here that I'm going to mash up to go with the, more garlic than you want garlic. That's not enough garlic. Got it, garlic is good, but got light garlic. So now we're going to mash up that garlic. We're going to add that to the pot with 3 tablespoons of butter. That's 3 because that's what the line said on the thing. So 1, 2, 3 tablespoons. Almost half a stick. I don't think it would kill if you put half a stick of butter. Might even be better. If you don't like this stuff, if you want to go vegan or something, you go with olive oil. You know, but butter makes stuff taste good. So we're going to go with butter. And we use chicken stock later on. If you don't want to use chicken stock, you can just use a vegetable stock. So, you know, you can make it as extremely healthy if you want. But I think this has already got enough good stuff in it. Well, a little butter's not going to hurt. That gets the skins loose on the garlic, otherwise it's a pain. And I actually think it helps get the flavor out too. So we're going to do that, and then it's really easy to get the skins off. They come right off. It's not hard to peel them at all at this point. All that there is just garlic. That's good, the good part of the garlic that we're going to eat. See how easy the skins come off? This one didn't have any to start with. Alright, then we're just going to chop that up. Be careful. Now put your bird on medium. Alright. And this is a nice soup pot. It's got a nice thick bottom. Nice thick metal on the bottom. I find it's good. Especially if you're going to saute in the soup pan. So we're going to drop this butter in and let it melt. Swish it around a little bit. There we go. This bottom's still kind of cool, so that's going to melt. And then once that melts, we're going to put this onion and this garlic in here. And we're going to stir that around until it gets clear. Yeah, so while the butter was melting, I went ahead and trimmed off that last 1.5 inches or so of the asparagus, you know, those little tough ends. And what I'm going to do while I'm sauteing the onion and garlic, that's what makes this go fast, is chop these into 1/2 inch lengths, into little bitty pieces. And now, the magic kind of begins. You can smell that. There it is. We're going to cook that. Kind of being diligent about stirring it until those onions get clear, or pretty much clear. Because that adds just a little bit flavor. And garlic's in there with it. So when that garlic starts smelling real strong, that's when it's really good. So I'm going to chop up while that's cooking down, I'm going to chop up the asparagus. So it's important not to just let this sit, because the onions on the bottom will burn. So like in between chop a little bit, stir a little bit, get it done. So I think the onions are good. It's starting to get just a little browning. I kind of like that. To me, that's a little extra flavor. You didn't pay extra for. So right now we're going to drop I'll take all of those chopped and get them in there. Fogged up the lens. There they are. We're going to stir that in, mix that in with the onion, get them coated a little bit. I like to do that a little. Get everything stay on the same page. All unified and mixed in, commingled. Sharing the flavors. Yes, indeed. So I think I want to try the same recipe with broccoli. I think the cooking time will be less because the broccoli is not as tough as this, but I think it'd be good. To me, the whole point of doing soups is just to preserve the nutritional value of vegetables while they're in season. So this asparagus was like $1 something a pound, but you know most of the year it's almost $4 a pound. So now we're going to add 3 cans or 6 cups of chicken broth, or whatever your favorite stock is if you don't want to use chicken broth. That quieted it down. I line these things. I'm going to get better at this. And then after we add this broth, we're just going to let it cook. So now I've added the veggies and still on medium heat. So the asparagus is going to cook now until it gets soft, very soft. Normally at this point, I would add salt and pepper. But I didn't buy low sodium chicken broth because that's not what was on sale. It is fat free though. So I'm not going to add any salt, and we'll see later on as you end up salting to taste anyway. But I am going to add 1 full teaspoon of black pepper, right? And of course we're going to stir that in. And like I said, we're going to let this boil probably about 30 minutes until the asparagus is really, really soft. And that's the hardest part of making the soup. All we're going to do after this is take a stick blender and put it in there and cream everything up, puree everything up, and that's going to be it. So we're about to finish. I just want to show you when it's finished cooking, when it's cooked enough, when it's boiled enough, you'll be able to take and press against the side of the pan, and you won't feel any crunches. It'll just be smooth. Just be a smooth press, so no crunchies. If everything just smoothly presses up against that, it's about ready. So what we want to do now is you want to let it cool a little bit, mostly so you don't burn yourself. All right? And then we're going to finish it.
Go ahead.
So okay, now we're about to turn it into this. You know, when you saw it last, it was just kind of this lumpy thing with chunks of asparagus. We're about to turn it into something real creamy. And the secret is this thing. It's called a wine blender. Originally I bought it to make milkshakes because it fits nicely in the bottom of a cup. Put some ice cream and milk, but I don't do milkshakes anymore because I found out milk doesn't agree with me. So anyway, you stick it in the pot after it's cooled down a while, and then you go around and around. You see the magic starting to happen? This thing it's going to turn this mass. It's going to turn this mass of chunky vegetables into the creamiest concoction you can imagine. So you really can't overdo this step. So when it looks like it's creamy, do it a little bit longer. So I tell you what, family, That there is soup. The only thing we're going to do to it now is we're going to add the juice of half a lemon. Yep. And we're going to add 3 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, and a little lanyard, you know. So at some recipes have milk product, have cream in them. Heavy cream in them. I don't like making stuff with heavy cream that I plan on reheating. Because sometimes the cream kind of does funny things in it. And the Parmesan in here is not really enough to do anything to change the structure of the soup. Oh, we're getting the lens fogged up again. But it's in it purely for flavor. So it's not part of the base. It's part of a seasoning. So between that and lemon. So what we're going to do now is we're going to salt and maybe add a little more pepper to taste. Oh man, that's sweet now. Yes indeed. I added about 2 teaspoons of added 2 teaspoons of salt. And let's see. Oh, that's good. Oh, that is so good. And it's good for you too. The thing about soup is it keeps all the goodness of your veggie. So we're going to do soups. I think we're going to call it soups in season because that's when it really makes sense to do soup. Looking forward to midsummer when we have more tomatoes than we know what to do with. And tomatoes are cheap. And we're going to make some really good tomato soup. Once again, I don't use cream. It's a tomato basil soup without cream. But this is asparagus, lemon, and Parmesan without the cream sauce. And so all I'm going to do now to it is bring it back to a boil just to get it stirred again. Because remember we had that blender in it. So there it is in the bowl. I dribbled just a little Parmesan just for garnish, and it's the best part of cooking soup. It's eating it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If somebody's going to ask, I know, can you use other blenders? You can, but it's so messy because you would have to take this in pots and put it in the blender and let it grind up until it's really, really well pureed like this is. And it's just a lot of trouble. Those little stick blenders are really inexpensive. And if you're gonna do much cooking with making these kinds of soups or sauces, it's well worth it. So yeah, you can do it. And originally I thought I was going to have to strain this through a cheesecloth to get any of the fibrous stuff. But that blender did such a good job of pulverizing everything. It just made this really nice creamy soup. So that's the asparagus Parmesan lemon soup. And I'm about to put this camera down and enjoy this.